We came down to the Gold Coast Turf Club this morning to chat to a few trainers ahead of the Big Ten race card here, hopefully at the Gold Coast on Saturday, with over $13 million of prize money on offer. Well, Toby, just before we touch on this week's runners, we have to touch on Spicy Martini. She ran 6th behind some really good horses there at the Sunshine Coast on Saturday. Did pull up slow recovery, but you believe she feels really good now.
Yeah, no, she's fine. She actually got through the run really well. It's a long day for her, but she's only a 3-start sort of horse. That's a third run running into those horses like that. It's a terrific effort. Obviously the winner's high quality horse, Lady of Camelot running second and Arabian Summer running third. She was there till probably the 50 or 60 metre mark, and then she got a little tired. So for her to do that in the first preparation, we're really excited about her going forward.
Is there any targets already potentially in the winter you have your eyes set on?
Yeah, look, as long as she sort of comes on from this preparation, some Sydney races we're certainly looking at, then into the winter carnival. So she could be a lightweight chance in the Stradbroke or the Tats Tiara. So yeah, that's where we're heading.
Really looking forward to her in the next 6 and 12 months, but more importantly on Saturday for now, Burning Bell goes around the fillies and mares.
She does, yeah. She drew horribly over here the other day, so she didn't run. She's been trending towards running well. She ran well in a stakes race the other day, and she's come on since. So it's a tough ask, a tough race for her. As long as we draw soft, she can sort of finish in the first 5. We're really happy.
Gold Coast trainers have a good hand in the Cutis Open, and you have Corfe Castle heading around.
Corfe Castle's is a really genuine galloper. Obviously, Tony Sears' horse is going to be very hard to beat in that race, I think. But our guy, he'll bang up on the speed in the spot, and if he's good enough, he'll look the winner at some stage. But I think Tony's horse will be a bit strong for everyone there.
Hopefully the form lines from the trial read really well though, because we see Clovis Prince go around the Country Cup and it beat Yellow Brick in a trial here last week. Yeah,
correct. We've sort of targeted this race first up for him. He's had 3 trials, a couple of good sharp gallops. He's a honest galloper. 1200's probably at the end. That's his sort of right at the end of his distance range, I would think. So he's going to need everything to go his way. He's an on-speed galloper that gets up and runs hard and fast. So he'll take some catching. He's only got a lightweight.
And one filly I've been waiting for. We saw her win the trial last week, Darn Hot Lady. We get to see her make her debut in the debut.
Yeah, she's a really lovely filly, 2 Darn Hot filly. Obviously, got a really good pedigree from a good winning family. You've seen her trial the other day, winning a trial easily. It's the first time we've put any pressure on her, to be honest. She's had a little gallop out here this morning on the bee grass where she worked with an older horse called Show Some Decorum. She worked beautifully beside him. So, I think the draw is going to be vital. So if we can draw somewhere softly, she'll be in the finish.
How is Show Some Decorum come up from Victoria? I've got a mate who owns a share. I wasn't going to touch on it, but I think I'll have to.
That's fine. He trialled nice the other day and he's come on since. He's sort of a little bit washy in the coat at the moment, so I think that his next trial will bring him on nicely and he'll be ready to perform first up.
And Hellmarch hopefully goes around in the maiden. It's 1-2 trials in preparation.
Yeah, he definitely ran in the maiden. He'll get a run. Well, it depends on where they run it, I suppose. I think he's right on the border. He might be number 13 or 14. So, if they run here, we'll get a run, so we're confident. But we've set him for the race. We targeted this race some time ago. That's why he hasn't raced. He's had 3 trials, 2 official trials and a jump out. So winning all of them. He's been quite sharp. He's a fast horse on speed. He'll take some catching. Ethan Brown to ride too, which is a good jockey. Good jockey booking. Sorry. It rides a lot for those particular owners.
And finally, Brutal Advance. Now, we don't think it's going to get a run on Saturday. It's also nominated for the maiden, but it comes to a really nice 1,000-metre maiden on Boxing Day. It did run 4th.
Yeah, really good run. He's a promising brutal gelding now. He was gelded sort of last preparation. He was naughty colt until then and wasn't doing much. And we give him a couple of little trials this time through, asked him for a little bit more and he responded. And I loved his run the other day. He hit the line really good. I wouldn't say we should have won the race, but he certainly should have finished a lot closer. And Blinkers on this week out to 1,200 looks ideal.
It certainly does look ideal, and I'm glad you touched on him because his trial, I was working that day at the Sunshine Coast, I was taken by his run because his trial, I was waiting to see him because he didn't really show too much of the trials, but he certainly is an improving type, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those horses that just only does as much as he's got to. Probably, if you come out softly in a trial, he'll just bend around out the back, and click up a little bit in the straight if you need to. But trial race day, with the added race pressure, and Brandon was able to, and we sort of knew in the back blocks like that would happen. It was just a matter of him doing it, learning to switch on, and he'll keep improving.
And finally, Imazaki nominated for Saturday and Sunday. Any preference at the moment?
Look, Sunday looks a nice option for him, but we've thrown a nom in for Saturday as a backup. But he's trending the right way. He ran really well at the Sunny Coast the other day, made up good ground late, out to a distance that sort of he's starting to get to a distance he should start to perform at. So, he's another one that sort of we've targeted that particular race for, or that distance, third up. So it's going well.
Matty, we've just seen Yellow Brick go around. How was his work this morning?
Yeah, he worked exceptional this morning. He galloped on the poly with Red Wave, and I was very impressed. Typically in his work, he always sits off him, and either Andrew Mallion or Nozzy rides him. So Nozzy was on Red Wave, and Andrew was on Bricky, and it was exceptional work. He put about a length or two on Red Wave on straightening under a very strong hold.
We saw him trial last week and he was really good here on the turf as well. How's he travelling ahead of this week as he tackles the Cutis Open?
Yeah, he seems to be on track. All his data and everything is aligning up with when he fires first up. So he's had a lot of trips to the beach. He went to the beach yesterday and he'll go to the beach again tomorrow. We feel as though it's something he really, really benefits from. It keeps him very happy. He absolutely loves it out there. So he'll go out there again tomorrow, and at this stage everything's on track for Saturday.
Speaking of trips, he went down to Sydney and ran extremely well on a couple of occasions. Has that changed him up at all? Has that really toughened him up?
Yes and no. I think a trip away for any horse is very beneficial, and he was very good down there. So I think it's made him a better horse again, and hopefully we draw a decent gate. I think that was our undoing in Sydney, most definitely. So hopefully a decent gate here Saturday, and we maybe get the job done.
And finally, Steady Ready. He was fantastic winning last up. We get to see him go around this week?
Yeah, definitely. Jason Collard will ride him as well, as he's riding Yellow Brick. And I think the horse put his hand up last start that he's probably one of Queensland's best sprinters. He's a lightning fast horse, and you let fast horses be fast horses. So that's, I'm excited to see him race here on Saturday.
And you touched on Red Wave. We get to see him in a few weeks.
Yeah, he'll race, I believe it's the Gold Coast Cup in a couple of weeks, so that's where he'll go. He just got a little bit flat when I raced him on that heavy 10 at Eagle Farm that day, and sort of felt the pinch of that last start. So I've just backed off him a little bit. He's been going to the beach and just changed things up around with him, and it seems to be working after seeing his gallop this morning.
Well, Mick, unfortunately it's going to be a waiting game for this week's Space Rider. Hopefully gets a run in the 2-year-old Magic Millions Classic.
Well, there's a few unknowns, isn't there? One is where they run the races, but I actually think if they do go to Eagle Farm, like he won at Eagle Farm, didn't he? Big long striding horse, and 1200 Eagle Farm would be nice for him. But anyway, he's staying here at the Gold Coast because we wanted to practice a few practice goes here, and they worked on that inside grass this morning, which is tighter again. But he zipped around there like he was, been here before. So I think if he does get a run, it'll be okay for him. But a few unknowns.
You touched on that debut, extremely impressive leading all the way, got out the gates, did everything right on the big track. Did he surprise you?
Look, Chad Schofield has very good knowledge of our horses. He, contributes, he rides work, he rides their trials. So, along the journey, we had a lot of information about that horse, which Chad was part of that, like blinkers on and ride him to be there and don't let him have too big a think about things. He's a nice colt, he's a pleasant colt, but even this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, he'd bounce around his box like Muhammad Ali looking to do something. I couldn't wait to work him. I thought, this horse needs work. So he's absolutely thriving, but look, we wanted to ride him like that, and I was pleased. You never know until the last bit of race day pressure what they're going to do, but he was good. He was excellent.
Right, touching on a couple other runners, hopefully have 3 going around on Saturday. Miss Rumbini and Charmstone. We were just chatting before we started recording. Love to split the pair. And Charmstone, Miss Rumbini, they're both in for the Magic Millions Cup and the Fillies and Mares, but no doubt the Fillies and Mares is preferably the way to go.
Miss Rombini will only run in the fillies and mares, the 1300. That's the race we want to run with Ethan Brown on. And Charmstone, we're going to accept in 2. We're going to accept in the 1400 metre race where I think she's well handicapped, and also the fillies and mares. So if she gives ourselves an option, if she draws poorly in 1, and we can make a choice. I think they're favouring wanting to run her in the fillies and mares 1300, but either race I think she'll run very well.
Charmstone especially is banging the door down for a deserved victory.
The 2 1400 metre races, like the Golden Rose as a 3-year-old, she was unlucky, and then the 1400 metre Group 1, the handicap at Caulfield there, just looked at backsides the whole race. So, look, I've got a lot of faith in that mare, but she's a big, long striding mare. She's not a little nippy thing. She needs a bit of room, and you'll see the best of her.
One horse I've always liked to follow, Hedged. I've been waiting for him to produce his best this preparation. I'm hoping Saturday will be in the snippets over the 1200 metres.
Hedge is good. Hedge needs a good ride. Hedge, even by Chadley's admission the other day, drawn 1, he said, I'll just hold my ground and put my foot on the accelerator a little bit, bang, he took off. And that is Hedged. You've got to have a good pair of hands on him and let him feed into the race, and if we get a good ride, we'll get a good result.
He's only a 4-year-old with 13 starts. Is there still plenty more upside with him?
He's a very big, strong, sound horse and plenty of upside. He'll train on, no worries. He's a nice horse.
All right, Scott Morrissey, just before the barrier draw, we must touch on the 2-year-old Forgotten Spirit following a really good run last week in the Gold Pearl, finishing 2nd. How's she travelling up ahead of the big feature this Saturday?
Yeah, no, she's really well. She's a very tough filly. She's an immature filly, so I haven't really got into her as such. It was all about just trying to get enough prize money, use the Saturday before to top her off, and then, hopefully we draw well, and if we're good enough, we're good enough.
Following the 3rd in the debut there behind Vain Girl, obviously you needed that prize money. You must have been thrilled not only to notch up the prize money, see her perform and know you can set her up for the big feature the way you want to.
Yeah, at the moment everything's gone really well. I know we've still got a few days to go to get through, but like I said, just so tough. After the trip to the Sunshine Coast and back, obviously in the heat, nearly bowled me over to get to a feed, went and put her back in a box and went here for a feed the next morning, and yeah, she's a tough filly, so if we can draw well, she'll race well.
She has to be tough because she came off from Victoria, so she's done a lot of travelling already.
Yeah, she sure has. Yeah, it's been a big effort. Like I said, looking at her confirmation, she's still 6 months away, and we've just sort of looked after her the best we can, just hoping to get to the race. And like I said, using that it was always a plan to go around the week before just to top her off, and just everything's gone really well so far. Like I said, we've just got to survive the next few days, and hopefully we're there.
And Linda Meach booked?
Yeah, she's got a connection with one of the owners. I don't know Linda at all, excuse me, but she's obviously a very good rider and people speak very highly of her, so happy to have her on.
Now, also looking towards Saturday, you've got a good team in, headed off by Find Your Own, chasing 4 in a row, goes around in the Qtis Open.
Yeah, no, he's well. Timmy Clark's going to ride him. He'll bowl along. Obviously, it's an experiment, but we thought we're better off, experimenting in a race like that than a lesser race and probably being a shell if it doesn't work. But his instructions will be that you can hold him, but don't fight him. Just it's either going to work or it's not. We're hoping it does, because after a race, it takes riders forever to pull him up. So this was always going to be the experiment over a bit further. And Timmy rode for me as a kid in the Canberra days, so I wanted a very good rider on that I actually know and had something to do with, and that's Tim. So yeah, hopefully. It probably won't matter where he draws, because he'll just get out and roll along anyway. And, if anyone sort of wants to go with him, it'll be at their own peril. So, yeah, you think he'd get a nice run in front, and it's just he'll either run it or he won't.
And it seems the right time to experiment as well, because speaking to a few people this morning, his sort of work was the one that really did turn a few eyes.
Yeah, for sure. He's come a long way this prep. He was getting beaten in really bad 800-metre maidens at Ipswich, and I was sort of thinking he just doesn't have the right attitude. Thought we were in trouble. We took the blinkers off, and he just never looked back. So, hopefully it all goes well Saturday.
Now we go to the other old marvel of the stable, Trackwork. He'll tackle the same race in the QTIS Open.
He will. Robbie Dolan's riding him. He's just an old war horse for us. Probably been the most unluckiest horse I've ever seen since I've worked with horses since I was 12. But he probably should have won the race 3 years ago. Another couple of hops he nearly would have. The following year he probably wasn't at his best, and last year he wasn't around for the race. But he's been racing really well, and if he can get the right run the race, he never lets you down. Whether that's winning or running fifth or midfield, like he'll give his best. Always does.
And he loves a race with a bit of tempo on, so a big field, hopefully here at the Gold Coast, should really suit him.
Well, the stablemate will make sure of that. So, if hopefully in a 1300 you'd like to see him midfield. He's pretty versatile in the thousands. You can give him a dig and he'll race handy, but in a 1300 he'll be sort of off the speed midfield type thing.